In 1998, a man ran out of a restaurant screaming, "They poisoned me." Minutes later, he was dead. But what makes this story truly disturbing is what he claimed to have invented. His name was Stanley Meyer, a American inventor from Ohio, and according to him, he had built a car that could run on water, not gasoline, not conventional electricity, but water. One of the most common substances on Earth. If his claim had been true, it wouldn't just have been another invention. It would have completely changed the global energy system, eliminating the need for oil and redefining how humanity powers transportation. Meyer became known during the 1980s and 1990s for a device he called water fuel cell. At its core, you know, his idea was based on a real scientific principle. Water can be split into hydrogen and oxygen, and hydrogen can be used as a clean, burning fuel. Today, hydrogen fuel cells exist and are used in some modern technologies. However, Meyer claimed something far more radical than conventional hydrogen energy systems. He insisted that his device could split water using far less energy than standard, electrolysis, making it possible to produce more usable energy than was consumed in the process. To understand why this claim was so controversial, you need to understand how water splitting normally works. In traditional electrolysis, electricity is used to break water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. But this process always requires a certain amount of energy, more energy than you get back when you burn the hydrogen. This limitation is detected by the laws of thermodynamics, which are among the most fundamental principles in physics. This is that energy cannot be created from nothing, and no system can produce more energy than it consumes. Meyer claimed, he had found a way around this. Instead of using a constant electrical current, he said his system was used high-frequency voltage pulses. According to him, these pulses create a kind of resonance within the water molecules, causing them to break apart more easily. He referred to this as voltage intensification, suggesting that the electrical energy input could be minimized while producing a significant amount of hydrogen gas. He described components such as a water fuel injector, a gas processor, and a resonance cavity designed to enhance the efficiency of the reaction. Meyer didn't just describe this system in a theory. He demonstrated it. He built a, modified down bungee, which he claimed could run, using water as its primary fuel source. To observers, it appeared that the vehicle was operational. He also filed, several patents detailing aspects of his technology, which added to his credibility in the eyes of investors and supporters. For a time, it seemed like, he might actually be onto something revolutionary. However, from scientific community, skepticism was immense and strong. Experts pointed out that Meyer's claims directly contradicted established physical laws. No matter how the electrical input is delivered, whether as a steady current or as a pulses. The total energy required to split water cannot be reduced below a certain threshold. Scientists argue that his device was likely just a variation of a shared electrolysis without any breakthrough in efficiency. Despite these criticisms, Meyer continued to promote his invention and attract attention. He secured interest from investors, some of whom reportedly paid significant sums for the rights to his technology. For a while, it seemed possible that his idea might gain commercial traction. But in 1996, his story took a major turn. Two investors who funded his work filed a lawsuit against him, claiming that the technology didn't perform as advertised. During the trial, experts examined Meyer's water fuel cell in detail. Their findings were clear. The device didn't demonstrate any ability to produce energy beyond what was input into the system. It didn't represent, a new form of energy production, but rather a conventional process presented as something, extraordinary. The court, ultimately ruled against Meyer, describing his claims as growth and growth. Yeah, just growth fraud. Whoa, that's crazy. He was ordered to repay his investors and his credibility suffered a severe blow. At this point, the story could have ended as a cautionary tale about unproven technology and exaggerated claims. But 2 years later, something happened that transformed the narrative into something far more mysterious. On March 20, 1998, Meyer met two investors at a restaurant in Ohio. According to accounts from his brother, who was present, the meeting began normally. There were no signs of conflict or distress. Then suddenly, Meyer stood up, appearing agitated. He rushed outside, clutching his throat, and shouted, "They poisoned me." Moments later, he collapsed and died. Those words, his final words, changed everything. Because now, the story was no longer just about science or a fraud. It became a mystery. Then, authorities conducted an investigation into his death. A toxicology report was performed, and medical examiners reviewed the case. The official conclusion was that Meyer died from a cerebral aneurysm, a type of stroke often associated with high blood pressure. No poison was found in his system, and there was no evidence of foul play. Legally and medically, the case was closed. But for many people, the official explanation didn't put the story to rest. Instead, it raised more questions. Why would the man suddenly shout that he had been poisoned if he was dying of natural causes? Why did his death occur shortly after years of controversy surrounding his invention? Supporters of Meyer's work began to speculate. They argued that his technology, if real, could have posed a threat to powerful industries, particularly the global oil market. Some suggested that he had been silenced to prevent his invention from becoming widely known. Over time, these ideas evolved into full-scale conspiracy theories. Some claimed that oil companies were Others believe that government agencies might have intervened. Others, however, despite these claims, there have always been any credible evidence to support them. Independent investigations and fact-checking organizations have consistently found no proof that Meyer was, was killed or poisoned. The official cause of death remains natural medical conditions and no documented evidence. So what are we left with? On one side, we have the scientific and legal record, which indicates that Meyer's claims were not supported by evidence and that his technology did not function as described. On the other side, we have a compelling and mysterious narrative. An inventor claimed a revolutionary breaking through, a dramatic legal battle, and sudden death marred by unsettling final words. It's possible that Meyer genuinely believed in his word. Throughout history, there have been many inventors who were convinced that they had discovered something groundbreaking, only to be proven wrong later. It is also possible that he misunderstood the limitations of the science he was working with, or that he exaggerated his results to attract investment. And of course, it's also possible that the story itself has been amplified over time, shaped by speculation and human fascination with mystery. Because in the end, the idea of a car that runs on water is more than just a technological claim. It represents a deeper hope, the idea that there might be a simple hidden solution to some of the world's biggest problems. It helps into a broader distrust of established systems and believe that transformative discoveries are sometimes suppressed or ignored. Stanley Meyer's story exists as an intensification of all these themes: science and belief, innovation and skepticism, fact and myth, and that is why even decades later, it continues to capture attention and spark debate. Was Stanley Meyer a fraud, or a man ahead of his time, or perhaps something in between? So what do you think? Okay, just leave your comments below.